Yo, what's going on, everybody? You've seen the thumbnail, you for the title, and today I want to talk about the combat pacing filter in Vanguard. Now, the reason why I'm talking about this so late into the life cycle is because, to be honest, I completely forgot this was even a system in Vanguard. I completely forgot this was even a feature in the game until Sledgehammer Games decided to just mess with my quick play filters and put something else in there that I didn't want. And then I went and removed the game mode because obviously I don't want to play things other than what I have selected in my quick play filter, which for those of you wondering is hardpoint, patrol, and domination. It's why you don't see any other game modes on this channel at all. I don't play other game modes because I don't simply like how they play. And then I looked at the, top right, or I think it's top left, I can't exactly remember, and there was combat pacing, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a feature in this game, because to me, I just put it on tactical ever since the game launched, and I've never taken it off. And I'm sure there's also a bunch of people out there who've only put it on Blitz ever since the game's launched and never taken it off, same with Assault. And the problem with this is, well, it should be pretty clear, it divides the community three ways, which obviously limits the amount of potential lobbies you can get, which obviously ups the ping you can get. Now, when you combo this on top of skill-based matchmaking, this is where it gets really problematic because now the community's divided three ways. The community is also divided with the quick play filters, and then the community is also divided by skill-based matchmaking. The community is incredibly divided, meaning the potential amount of players you can play with is a lot less, and because skill-based matchmaking prioritizes skill over ping to a certain extent, you are typically going to be getting worse connections because of this feature. Now, and that's not that I think, combat pacing is all bad. No, it's actually got a lot of good things with it, right? There's people like me who just want to play 6v6 all the time. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I don't really have a huge problem with it, other than the fact that obviously, I'm getting worse pings, indirectly because of it. But there's people who don't want to play Blitz. They don't want to have super chaotic matches, but, they find 6v6 is a little bit too slow for them. So Assault is that perfect sweet spot. And then there's the people who literally just want to play Blitz TDM 24/7 all the damn time. They don't want to play anything else on Vanguard. It's Blitz TDM, Blitz TDM, Blitz TDM. And they probably haven't changed that since the game has came out, because that's the way they find the game most fun. There's probably some people who only want to play Assault TDM and only want to play Tactical TDM, or only want to play Assault Domination. So it's not that I entirely hate this system. In fact, I like that it's probably given a lot of joy to some people. It's probably the reason some people really like Vanguard. At least I know I really like Vanguard. It's not because of that reason. I actually can't even put my finger on why I like this game, but there's probably some people who get more enjoyment than they otherwise would because of this feature. Because that this is in the game, they get more enjoyment out of it. But I just think, what was the problem with having traditional 6v6 and then the traditional ground war game mode? I just can't help but sit there and think, why was that ever a problem, right? You see, because the traditional ground war game mode pretty much did what all three combat pacings already do for the game. It already did that, right? You would have your 6v6 or your traditional Call of Duty, which would, either be very chaotic if it was a smaller map, or it would be kind of slower if it was a bigger map, or somewhere in between if it was a medium-sized map. And then you'd have your ground war, which pretty much made everything chaotic, but small maps were super insanely chaotic. Whereas, obviously it would be different for, bigger maps. They would be chaotic, but not as super chaotic. I was like playing Nuketown with 8v8. It just worked, and there was no need to divide the player base three ways. But Sledgehammer Games, they decided to divide the player base three ways, and I'm sure it works for some people. I'm sure for some people it is absolutely amazing. I'm sure having, assault combat pacing is great for some people, and for those people, I'm incredibly happy for them. But I just think it divides the player base way too many ways for it to really do much good, and I think the amount of people who play Assault is probably so low that it's kind of worth sacrificing it, at least in the next Call of Duty, for that purpose. For the purpose of not dividing the community any more than it already is divided. Again, with quick play filters, combat pacings, and skill-based matchmaking, there's no point. Skill-based matchmaking and quick play filters is already enough division of the community as it is. We don't need a third thing. That's just my take on it. Maybe you guys have a completely different take. It's not like I can't see the positives of this feature. There's quite obviously some great positives to this feature, but I just think the cons outweigh the pros, especially when like Modern Warfare 2 2.0 comes out. Vanguard already isn't a very popular game. When Modern Warfare 2 2.0 comes out, who's to say that, Vanguard is going to be even more dead because the player base is going to be spread even more thin than it already is, because there's going to be even less players. And then, you know, you're going to end up with a situation where combat pacing in a year is probably just completely pointless, because you're not going to be able to find anything else aside from like tactical pacing TDM. You know, that's what happens with every other old Call of Duty game. You can't find ground war. You have to play TDM because it's the only alive game mode. And now, you know, it's just in a year. Like, what's the point of it? Really? I don't know. You know, again, it's not like there isn't positives to this, but I just kind of want to get this off my chest. I just think it's more of a pointless feature than anything else. And, you know, maybe you guys have different opinions. And if you do, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. As always, I'm open for discussion. And with that being said, have a great rest of the day, everybody. Bye-bye. Peace out.